Welcome everyone to the South Russell Village Council meeting. Today is Monday, June 9th. Please rise, put your hand over your heart, and join us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Ms. Gillespie will take the roll.
And just a reminder, this is the tax budget hearing first.
Okay.
Kavanaugh? Here. Kulicki?
Here.
Porter?
Here.
Bell?
Here.
Berger is absent. Canton?
Here. I'd like to turn the floor over to Finance Chair Canton.
Thank
The
you.
floor is yours.
Thank you very much. The proposed 2026 capital budget includes estimated revenues for the general fund of $1,513,361, with estimated expenses of $1,655,849. Safety fund revenues of $2,054,243 and expenses of $2,100,524. Operating fund revenues of $569,287 and expenses of $609,330. Road and bridge fund revenues of $243,541 and expenses of $59,500. Special revenue fund revenues of $3,632,653 and expenses of $3,399,395. Capital project fund revenues of $2,931,975 and expenses of $2,640,711. And fiduciary fund revenues of $120,000 and expenses of $120,000.
Okay. Any questions of the Finance Department? Committee Chair, I mean. Hearing none, we will have a motion when it comes down to the Finance Department, Finance Committee.
Move to adjourn the tax budget.
To adjourn the tax and moved by Porter, seconded by Galicki. All those in favor say aye.
Seconded by Cannon.
Ken, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Tax hearing is over with. We are now at the minutes of the May 27th regular council meeting. Any changes or corrections in the minutes? I'd like to make one when we had the moment of silence for Katie Brent, the teacher I referred to as a learning administrator. She was the Chagrin Falls Education Association leader when I worked there. So that's my mistake.
And she was a math teacher.
In math.
Yeah.
And also thank you to council members Kavanaugh and Canton for the nice words about her. All right.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any changes or corrections in the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. We're going to do the visitors before the mayor's report. So we have two visitors out there. I think you guys are all familiar with how we operate. If you'd like to speak, please let me know. Carrie would like to speak. Okay, Carrie, you have 5 minutes. Please stand, give us your address, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Schloss, 290 Hickory Hill Road. And I'm one of the co-chairs for the Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transport Committee. And I'm just here to provide an update on things that we've learned, meetings that we've had, and keep you all informed. The first thing is about a transition on our committee. So Kelly Estes, who is one of our committee members, is moving, or has moved, I think, yesterday. And so we'll need to have that transition happen formally somehow. So just mentioning that to you, we have let the committee know that, you know, if people are interested in kind of taking her place or in our public meetings, we've let people know that if people are interested in taking her place, they can let us know. And so we'll let you know a new, whoever is gonna come forward will come to council and you can meet them and, for that transition. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that we did meet with, if you remember, our committee's recommendations for phase one were, from Gurney, through the park to Spring Drive, and then also connecting into Sugar Lakes with some crossings, that would connect the most people to the parks and about 50% of South Russell residents to each other, to the parks and to the school. We did work with Rich Washington at Verdantis Engineering, and he is looking into that path, which I'll talk about in a second. But we did meet with the Bell Road residents who live on the north side of Bell Road between Ernie and the park, and then across from the park as well towards Spring Drive. The mayor sent out direct mail to the houses, inviting them to a meeting at South Russell Park. 3 of the households came out of around 10, I think, and we didn't hear any opposition. Only support for this project. There were some design considerations. So for example, the people living directly across the park said, why would you put it on this side of the street? Why not put the path through the park where you have all that open land? So that was the suggestion from them, but in general, it seems that people would be using that trail. They were saying that they, the households, 2 of the households that came said that they have kids who are either not allowed to bike on Bell and they're walking their bikes to the side streets, or who are biking on Bell and have had some near misses that they've explained to their parents. So they are supportive of that. So that was a barrier that was identified, and we still try and get in touch with the other residents who didn't show up at the meeting by sending out a survey, a paper survey, just with a couple questions just to them.
And that was for the Bell Road section?
Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that. Thank you.
between Gurney and Spring Drive, basically. And then Rich Washington found out that the NOACA funds can be spent on a narrower path than we thought, so we had been concerned that we would have to build this 10-foot wide trail, which we didn't think would actually be feasible in that section, but he found out that NOACA funds could actually be spent on a 5-foot wide trail. And so we could actually spend those funds in that segment. And it's about a half-mile segment that he looked into, and it would likely be within that $800,000 budget. His next steps are to actually do a cost estimate with all the grading and the materials for that section, and have a more detailed estimate for that section, and then also to kind of complete the rest of a preliminary study of master trails planned throughout the city or throughout the village. So it's not just about that segment, but the broader connection. And so he'll be sharing that with us at our June committee meeting, and you're all welcome to attend. It's the last Friday of the month at 8:30 in the morning here.
Questions for Carrie? Thank you, Carrie. John, would you like to say anything today?
Just spectating, thanks for.
Okay.
I would be, it's nothing you did or didn't do. I'm surprised more people didn't respond, that you only got the 3 people that actually responded. I thought that would be hot button. Surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, we can't assume that there is support, but if there was strong opposition, maybe they would have come, or maybe they couldn't. We did also give them our email addresses, and we haven't heard anything that way either, but we'll try, I think, one more time to get responses just to make sure that we're taking their perspectives into design considerations as we move forward with the architect.
You probably said it, but you contacted by mail here?
Yeah, the mayor from the village, so it was like official mail.
Yeah. Surprising.
Very surprised. We at 5 till 6, we're sitting here thinking, no one's coming yet with a pitchfork. I thought for sure there would be some negativity. I mean, you'd send them a letter and invite them.
Well, just even response.
By email or otherwise.
Yeah.
Carrie, do you think 5 feet is wide enough going forward?
Well, I mean, I think we were concerned that a wider path would be too wide for going through people's yards. However, it depends what is allowed uses on the path. I think anything that could at least get walkers and kids on bikes off of the road and make it safe for them is wide enough, because a recreational trail that's wider would obviously be better to get more people off the road, but I think what's feasible and what we can actually get done is a really good option, and what we've heard from people is
Sorry,
that.
Dennis, there's 5'4" right there, so can 2 bikes pass,
Like two-way traffic?
I mean, I don't think, it wouldn't be considered an official recreational trail. So it would probably be designed for pedestrian use. I think that's just like in the federal guidelines what it would be. But people do use pedestrian paths. It wouldn't be for the bikers that are flying down the road. We're thinking about like kids, on bikes kind of moving more slowly and.
that don't
You
go
might have
single
to-
file. And I roll down my window and go, single file.
So, on my way here, I passed 3 kids on bikes on Bell between Gertie and the park. So, just getting those 3 kids off the road at rush hour would be a great thing, I think.
One of the things that we will do, Rich Washington got the opinion from the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, said the 800,000 is very loosely written. I would still like to have it in writing,
I read that.
what we can do.
Yeah.
That's a concern. We did learn a couple things from retired Orange Police Chief Costura, who lives right across from the park. He lives on the other end of it, away from the playground. Orange Village put in sidewalks, but they made them, they put them in a different size. Instead of putting in 5 feet concrete sidewalks, they made them a little larger, and they call it a trail, and then Orange Village is going to maintain it. Now, of course, they got $5 million from Pinecrest to do this, but it's interesting. I never heard of such a thing, that you can call it a trail and have it a different size.
I believe they also had to make it curved.
Very
not straight.
curvy, they're curvy,
It's
like
part of the, I remember those in
on
the paper
Langer
years
or
ago.
one of those roads.
Yeah, something with their ordinance, they had to make it curved.
I don't like that, but anyhow. And I haven't talked, I'll see the Pepper Pike mayor tomorrow and get his opinion, because, they went through all of this also. And keep an eye on Chagrin. We were with some friends that live on Monticello, and they're paying a little over 10 grand to have a sidewalk put in the front yard of Chagrin. So there's a lot of variables that going on.
Your minutes were good, Carrie.
Mayor, can I just add to, just so you're aware, that grant from NOACA, it's an 80-20 grant. So 800,000 is what NOACA will spend, so up to, so the village would be hooked for about 200,000 if you maxed out the grant revenue.
We're, I guess you could call it fast crawling to make sure we don't make any mistakes, but we want to get rolling too. With that in mind, regretfully, I have Kelly Estes' resignation here. And I also have the article that was in the Chagrin Valley Times about her. She is going to become the head of the she's the medical director for the U.S. Soccer Federation, and she's going to be moving to Atlanta, or maybe it's already started moving to Atlanta. So I'll let you take a look at that. And while we have this up, can someone give me a motion to accept this resignation of Kelly Estes as the co-chair of the Trails Committee?
I move.
Moved by Kavanaugh, seconded by Bell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. I'll get this over to you, Danielle. Another thing, we have had a lot of discussion with Frank Antonucci and the whole county system, but I do give him credit. A very nice letter came out. It's almost like every day. This one came out on June the 6th. At 2:54 in the morning, Frank was recognizing Christina Blair, who caught the fact that they were into the County Engineers Association of Ohio distribution list. And they're going into all these county engineering parts. So these these people are brilliant with what they're doing and how they're just digging in. So we have to continue to be vigilant with our computer system, even though it does drive me crazy, and I don't know how the chief does it.
Is that normal to have that? It is almost daily. We get a notice almost
Oh,
daily.
yeah, it's, the stuff going on is just unbelievable. I give Frank credit.
It's a lot of bad people.
Okay, on some good stuff. This is Detective Spackman, named the Geauga County Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, and he did a fabulous job of sharing this award with all the law enforcement officers in the county. He said, I'm the representative. Prosecutor Jim Flays is the one that nominated, and the lieutenant and the chief were there. And I can't think of anything better could have been done that day. It was just perfect. Trail map from downtown Cleveland to Garrettsville. Mayor Tomko from Chagrin Falls picked me up Thursday morning and said, I'm going to take you on a ride. And he took me all through what Chagrin Falls is doing, what Solon is doing, what the Metro Parks are doing. And he would like us to consider, because he's been following us on the newspaper with the trails, as to how we could hook. And basically, he's promoting something to get from the South Russell Park into Flooring. If you get into Flooring, you can go, downtown Cleveland, you can get out to Garrettsville. There is a small section in Bainbridge that they're working with Geauga Park districts to buy to connect into Aurora also. So these guys are well in their planning, and they also realize they're not going to live to see some of this. But it's interesting what they're doing and what they can and cannot do. Had a good discussion on the Bike to School event with the mayor and about biking in Chagrin and his frustration. It was very nice. We also talked about the Bike to School you guys met this morning. Yes. We talked about the Bike to School too.
There's a prognosticator sitting here that when I won't be alive that has said Garrettsville is going to be the next Chagrin. It's beautiful. The river, the mill, all of that is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great place.
I go walk and I think, I don't need another antique in my house and I don't have any money. Why am I going into the antique store? 'Cause I'm a fool. Anyway, it's a beautiful place.
All right. Next one, just to let you know, this is part of our Manor Brook stream issue that we've dealt with over years. This is D Creek. It runs from Bell Meadow under Chillicothe into Manor Brook. It's just been nicely mowed, and we've connected people living north of this creek going up almost to the Russell Township line. I think we got one more family we're going to try to connect to just drain their whole backyards and get all this water controlled.
I'm sorry, that's the north side?
That's on the north side of the creek, right,
Of the Manbrook
of
side?
the Manor Brook.
Okay.
Last Thursday, Eric and I and Kim Brewster from Chagrin River Watershed Partners, we walked the Manor Brook floodplain looking for these things called growth sticks. These are put in to protect small trees that are coming up. We probably found about 50 of them. Also, we looked at how much mowing should or should not be done on the floodplain. And we had a conversation with the Manor Brook Gardens HOA. Their couple people are promoting mowing it down completely so it looks like this back here. And I explained to them, no, that was not what we did, and that's not what we wanted to do. But there is some mowing that we can do when the time comes. We'll get a report back from Chagrin River Watershed Partners telling us what we need to do there. There's some invasive species, of course, but all in all, everything was working. When the water goes from Manor Brook, it runs through Fox Run and then it hits Sugar Bush. This is the Sugar Bush silt pond. That little bump there is about 4 feet by 10 feet. It's an island in their silt pond. This is the same silt pond that we helped clean out about 2 years ago. There's two possible solutions that we continue to try to get all the silt that's coming from Manor Brook, or to tell Sugar Bush to bite the bullet and return their lake to a pond, or their lake to be a stream. Don't have any idea what's going to happen, but I met with Sugar Bush, And they're very concerned because this, this basically is all filled up and we just cleaned it up. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember, but
The end of the Manor Brook Phase 1 project,
Yeah.
I think.
Scouts, young kids learning how to work. And this is the Eagle Scout platform was built.
That's,
Um,
go back, Mayor, so what's that, just to sit or stand there, it's just,
He was, yeah, it's there.
okay, so it's a lookout, like,
Yeah, it's like an observation.
you've mentioned it before,
Sorry, I don't know how to
that's all right.
go back. A couple questions have come in, especially since we've had some big events at the park on the idea of a male bathroom, female bathroom, should we open them up? And that's something I think we take to the park committee, talk it over and say, do we want to have a strictly female restroom and a strictly male restroom? I think it came up really with some Girl Scouts. And, they're all just waiting for the same restroom. Yeah. Also, we've talked about bocce courts. So when we're out and about, this is the Chagrin Bocce Court. It's located south of Chagrin Pet and Garden. This is what it looks like from the other end. I don't know. I'm not good at estimating how long it is. This one looks very nice. This is the court at Bentleyville, which is, this was in the spring, probably a month ago. It does not look so nice. It needed to be cleaned out. But I think now they're all cleaned and they're working. But these are just a couple of examples.
Mayor, was that the stone? It looked like concrete.
It looks like, Tim, could you bail me out?
It's crushed oyster shells, so it's a real fine, tight packed mat.
Tight pack, okay.
Yeah, but it's like screening, it's like just real fine material.
Okay.
Chagrin said that they have almost no maintenance on
Right,
it,
I remember that.
but I mean, that was in a wooded area, so.
Bocce's still something the old girl can do.
Gurney had their event last week, the chief there, we had, seemed like everything under control. I showed you this because this is a typical ice cream truck, and they had that opened up for the kids, and it's one of the proposals for our bike ride, which is coming up in August. Chief, I missed it, they were so fast, that I think they sprayed everybody again from pictures, some video, but other than that, I thought everything went fine with this event. Good. And the rain held off. I'm thinking we need a special council meeting. I'm thinking, frankly, next week would be a good time for all those following motions. To hire a new street department employee, that person will contact tomorrow to say, you have to have some screening and a background check. We've been working on the street department clothing policy, but we're not ready yet. We've got to pick a fall festival date. Dennis, there's your motion to remove the corner lot, 3 trees, asphalt bricks, clothing, and to level the property.
Yes, not the wording that we talked about at Properties Committee, but it's a topic.
Okay? And then we need a motion to approve a resolution supporting Jaga Soil and Water. This is coming, we kind of killed the tree yesterday for the people who are on public utilities. Basically, they're asking, Jaga Soil and Water is asking us to support their program through a resolution. I know we have a meeting Friday, and if once you get a chance to read through this, it'd be something that we would support. So think about the council meeting. I think it's a good idea. I think we've got a lot of work to do. And I'll move on. The Drone Garage grand opening luncheon, going to be next Wednesday at noon. Is there a ribbon cutting ceremony, Chief?
I could put some crime scene tape up if you.
And some chalk.
I didn't do it for the restroom, so.
Yeah, we didn't have a real grand opening of the restroom. It's going to be Wednesday at noon. It's an employee potluck. You're invited. We'll hopefully meet the 2 new employees and hopefully the streets person can be there also. So that's coming up at noon on next Wednesday. To clarify,
That's the 11th, Mayor?
it's the, yes, yeah,
18th?
18, yeah.
18th, I'm sorry, the 11th is this Wednesday, so it's next Wednesday, yeah. The ice cream bike ride, I wanted to go through this. It would be Sunday, August 17th at 6 o'clock. We're starting in at the park. This goes back to Officer Kramer. We talked about doing this years ago as to what we could do safely and easily. But basically, we would leave the park, go on Alderwood Trail to Sorrelwood Lane and return. Mountain Road Bike Shop will be there. We'll have a truck, and we'll have a tent. And we'll be there to do any last minute service calls. We would open it for walkers and strollers and bikers and welcome. It's just half hour out, half mile out, half mile back. When they come back, there would be an ice cream truck with free ice cream. Total estimate cost is going to be about $700 for overtime in the ice cream. And if the weather's terrible, we just put a yellow caution line at the park and then cancel the ice cream truck. So we could actually not have any expense at all. All right, Stake 2 is coming to Burntwood, should be here in 2026. I did write a email to the Cleveland Plain Dealer reporter saying, hey, we know it's Stake 2 coming to Burntwood, but it's not Chagrin Falls, it's in South Russell. He laughed and wrote back and said, I get this all the time, but the restaurants don't want to say South Russell, they want to say Chagrin Falls. That was with the nice article about the Tavern 6 a couple of weeks ago. Another thought, we hold a retreat Saturday, November the 8th to the 15th, to come up with our plans for our committees. We would have a trails update. Carrie, you'd be invited to come and make a presentation on what the trails are. Ruth, we'd start talking about the 250th birthday party. There's a couple of things to think about. We're ways away from.
So just like a couple hours, right?
Yeah. Saturday mornings are precious, at least to me.
8 hours? Is that good?
8?
No,
8's a couple.
no.
25th birthday celebration. One thing I know I'd like to do is on the January 1st at noon. We'd raise the 250 flag. We'd have a bonfire and a little s'mores. We have gotten so many ideas. Again, there's over 50 groups. They're talking about tours and presentations. There's a lot that can be done, but that's just where we stand for now.
Mayor, one question about the 250. One time we were applying for a grant for $5,000 or something.
Correct.
What's the status?
We got turned down flat.
So anything will come out of pocket from the village?
I think it's coming out of village funds, yes.
Where would this be held there?
This would be at the park. You know, ideally, we could have a nice bonfire and just have something. And this is our newest street department employee.
Flattering picture.
This was,
Are you praying to the tree?
Just kind of covering it in dirt.
this was all done neatly landscaped, and one of our least favorite vendors drove his vehicle across the corner. I'm assuming it's one guy, I don't know, I'm assuming it's a guy. Okay, enough of that. All right, Chief, I'm done with that. Can I get rid of this now without?
Nice report, Mayor.
Thanks. All right, thank you, Carrie. A couple other things. I got 2 copies of the stewardship landline, so I'll pass one going one way, one going the other way. I did not leave these back. The reason I want you to take a look at them, or maybe to share them, these are mostly written by Pete McDonald, who is our man in charge of our property. He's coming out Friday morning at 10:30. We walk the property every year, but you can get a flavor of how Pete thinks. So it's really kind of an interesting view as to what's going on.
At 10:30, Mayor?
It's going to be 10:30 Friday. If you want to walk, I wouldn't advise it, but if you want to, because we go he goes to the property line. I mean,
So,
and that's
poison
like
ivy and everything.
blasting your way through the
Yeah.
woods. And the ticks are terrible, I guess, although we haven't had any issue with them yet. The people have been complaining about the ticks. but our guys will be the ones to get it. All right, I do 7:30, that's the mayor's report. Questions of the mayor?
One thing, Mayor, we do have to ratify the approval of the luncheon for the service department employees, the interviews.
Do I what?
We have to ratify the approval of the luncheon or the food for the service department.
Oh,
interviews.
yeah, right there in front of my face. Yeah, we met with the candidates, and I had the service department guys come, and we interviewed, we spent $40 on pizza. So I'd like to get that approved. Have a motion?
I move that we approve the luncheon for the service department interviews last week. So moved.
That
Was
was
it around $40?
Yeah, I would
$40.
have ratified
Is that right?
the payment of $40.
Not to exceed $35, that's it.
Thank you. So moved.
Second.
Well, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And they,
Okay.
again, after the
4 to
fact
1.
expenditures are, we need to approve funds before we use them.
You brought up a good question, because when I talk to some of my colleagues, they don't get into this stuff, little stuff. They have it all handled differently. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so I'll try to figure out how they do it.
Maybe they don't hold as many luncheons. Maybe they don't have that issue.
Not what they say.
Or they're happy with ratification.
All right, fiscal off, yes, fiscal officer, you're up.
I distributed my report to mayor and council, and if there are any questions. My last couple of weeks have been mainly the tax budget, which is done, so, I will get the, bank rec and the May financials done and sent out to you as soon as those are complete.
What's that date that you go in front of them again, Danielle, with the county?
August the 19th.
It's August 19th,
I think it's 19th.
I'll send it out to you.
But
again.
basically, you take what everything's done now, and that's what you take out there.
Well, I took it out, it has to be filed by July, so I send it out to the county, and then the budget commission reviews it, and then they decide, what our revenues will be for the year, and then they certify it. So we go to answer any questions they have, listen to their concerns, and hopefully they certify everything. Last year, Treasurer Hitchcock told me that a perfect budget would be having 20% cash carryover at year end of your expenses. I thought I'd have like 18% until I found that error in the tax report today. So I'm at 13% majority of the funds. So hopefully that's good enough to show that we are, because remember what they complained before, we had too high cash balances last year. They said we were too low. So, I upped it, was able to improve it a little bit from last year.
I love reading the comments on every township they bring, because they're all over the board. Too much, too little.
That's all I have.
Any questions of the fiscal officer? Hearing none, off to the finance committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Treasury Investment Board met on June the 2nd, 2025 at our Village Hall. Minutes can be found in our electronic packet. Meter Investments reports that management fees will increase from $5,000 to $7,500 per year. Our village's investment earnings are projected to earn $37,000 in 2025 and $39,000 in 2026. First of 2 check signings in June, and cross-checking is scheduled by the 15th. And next finance meeting will take place this Friday, June 13th at 8 a.m. here at our Village Hall. Mark, anything to add?
Nothing further to add.
That's it.
Any questions of the finance committee?
Jerry, can you make that motion to approve the tax budget?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I think I heard it. Yes. I'd like to make a motion that we council adopt the 2026 tax budget as presented during the tax budget hearing.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
One question about that, and that I didn't want to say it during discussion. Does anyone have any idea of the status update? Yeah, I don't know if it's political rhetoric or if it's reality, but in the state house, they were talking about eliminating property taxes from the local level. As I look at the budget put together by the fiscal officers, so much of our revenue is from property taxes. Makes me really nervous. So I don't know if anybody knows any updates on that.
I'm just speculating now.
Okay.
Okay? There are times when politicians will say something outlandish like doing away with property tax, just to goose the legislature to discuss other avenues. This might be one of those. I could be wrong, but it could be a trial balloon just to be sent up to see what
There
takes
is-
place.
Concerns, I did forward to all council the information from OML asking you to reach out to our representatives, because if they get the signatures they need and they put it on the ballot in November, this would start in January. So townships would go bankrupt because everything they get is property tax, they don't get income taxes, but it would be very bad. And the problem is in that legislation where they're saying that they want to get rid of it, they're not giving any alternative funding sources, so I don't know what will happen.
But part of that, Chris, is probably not, I thought that's what Jerry was gonna say. The school funding is so cattywampus, and I'm sure the mayor could talk to this a lot better than I could. For example, Newberry, in its most struggling years, they got next to nothing because there were so many large landholders with farms that were able to pay their taxes or got CAUB. So a lot of it is, and like 75% of it goes for school taxes. So it could be the side issue. It would be chaos. Sorry, it would be chaos if it got on the ballot.
I thought this would come up naturally at the finance committee on Friday.
Okay.
And then was just looking at the revenues from 2024 for real estate taxes, $650,000. I think there's another component as well, Danielle.
We have 4 different funds we collect, so I believe I sent you, when I sent you the OML thing, I think it's 1.7 million we get in property taxes.
And that would be an enormous bite out of our budget. Fortunately, I suppose, we do have the village income tax, but I can't imagine making it high enough to make up for that revenue. So I did hear that Florida is considering doing the same thing, eliminating property taxes, but increasing their state sales tax to like 13%. From like 6% to 13%, the state collects all the money and then divvies it out to the school districts. I don't know that that's in the cards, but it could result in centralizing tax collection essentially at the state level for the purposes of funding schools. So who knows which way it'll go, but on another note, I noticed in the Ohio Municipal Township Association thing, a provision in the Senate part of the budget process would eliminate the ability for villages and townships and cities to do renewal levies.
Replace that probably.
And that caught my eye because we've done that many times
we
over
have.
the years. And I'm not sure, is that to force us to have new levies when we need them or not? But levies are usually based on property.
Right, and there was a big push, was it a couple of years ago, to change actually how levies were written so that they were more understandable for the voter. And the replacement levies, they're just they are on fire. I do not see them lasting. I see this definitely, they're gonna be gone. Right?
But we mainly do renewal levies, we
Correct.
don't do replacement levies.
The replacement levy would go, right, it's basically an existing levy that
Yeah.
you're renewing, but you're replacing it at this year's, the value this year as opposed to the value that was, passed when it was first passed in whatever year. So that's a big deal, and it's going to be all political subdivision.
So
It's-
I'm not sure where this all goes, but finance will be continuing to be interesting going forward, no doubt. So,
Good question. The mayor's convention is this Thursday. I'm sure it's going to be the big topic. And also, if you look on the Ohio Township Association, their 1308 report, it was 9 minutes, a video of a man explaining this issue about property taxes and what's coming. It just doesn't look good. Anything else for the Finance Committee? Solicitor,
Sure, just one thing to report. At the last council meeting, there was discussion regarding our camping ordinance and possibly changing the definition to include RVs as part of the prohibited camping. We have a whole provision and section in the zoning code that addresses RVs and where they can and cannot be stored. So I'm of the opinion we do not need to, amend our camping ordinance. And that requirement is basically you have to be an owner of the property of the house in which the RV is located. So in other words, a property owner, a lessee, and you also have to be a permanent occupant of the house in order to use the RV. So just wanted to let you know that there's no reason to change the camping ordinance. We are covered with the RVs.
so when grandma and grandma come from Arizona with their RV and want to spend a week in the driveway,
That's an issue. Yeah, I think there's a conflict in the law, in our codified ordinances, because we have the property maintenance codified ordinance that says, listen, you can store vehicles in your front yard for 72 hours only, store or park them. And vehicle does include an RV, but in the zoning code, you have to be the owner of the property and a permanent occupant of that house in order to store that RV on that property. So we're going to need to address that if that's an issue. As far as family members, relatives, someone else coming to your house, storing the RV for more than 72 hours.
Punderson's right down the street.
What's that?
Punderson's right down the street.
I suppose it comes down to what is meant by storage.
Well, or parking. That's how the codified ordinance says it. So store or park. And it's in the front yard. Keep that in mind. So let's say that RV is stored in the back. But again, our RVs are that you have to be a permanent occupant of that house. You have to be the owner of that property in order to have that RV stored or parked there. So
So
I would say you cannot.
I thought some of this had to do with at the park. It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's only in residential districts. Are
Okay.
you allowed to have RVs stored or parked on your own property?
So
of
we're
which
covered
you-
park-wise.
Correct. They will never be at the, they can never be at the park, actually.
so right now, when grandma and grandpa come, and they park in the driveway, they're breaking our zoning, that's against our zoning code.
Which is our codified ordinances, correct?
Okay, so we should probably take a look at this.
Absolutely.
Okay, just to let everybody know, we have this, it's a 72-hour rule. If you have a vehicle or something in your driveway in your front, if it's in the front of the house, it cannot be parked out there more than 72 straight hours.
Well,
Anything else on that?
3 days, fish and relatives, we all know.
Okay, thank you. All right. Our engineer is not here, but I can talk a little bit about him. I don't know if you have anything to say about what's been going on with the engineer, but I'll start. We've had 2 requests. Basically what's happening is things are settling over the 50, 60 years. The street Laurel runs from Bell Road, heads north. It backs up to Country Estates. When Country Estates did not exist, it was a farm. Now what you have is their backyards, and there used to be some sort of swale between Country Estates and Laurel. Now it's all flattened out, and people are getting water on a good rate, not one of our downpours. Good, water's coming up through their back doors, coming up through the garages. They want us to fix it. Same thing just across the way on Shearbrook. Shearbrook was fine until Wembley came in, and now you have water coming, if you live in downhill, the water's coming down, residents want us to fix it. So we talked with Eric when we were walking through the woods. I said, how can we do this? The only thing he came up with, and I don't see this happening, is because the interurban used to be between Bainbridge and Chagrin, or Bainbridge and South Russell, is you redo the trail, and then when you're redoing the trail, you put a swale in there to catch the water.
With the bike path.
Then you ask people though, what do you want? You want a swale or do you want people walking through the back of your property? Well, no, we don't want either one. So there's really nothing that we can do, and that's the word that we'll get back to them is, that's regretfully, it's your problem. It's your property. We could do it, I guess we do all sorts of legalese, and it costs us a fortune. I don't think we want to provide that service to our residents. It's,
This has come up before, Mayor. and
yeah,
I thought we had the same answer
yep,
5 to 10 years ago, something like that, to the same issue. And part of the issue was that the swale behind the houses had not been cleaned out in forever. And that was a significant part of the problem.
You're right, Mark. Here's Eric's first sentence to me. You're correct. We have discussed these areas before. I know Solicitor's been down this road before. There's nothing we can do, unless we make some really big changes. All right, anything from the engineer that we need to say? Okay, Street Commissioner, you're up.
I submitted my monthly report, and I have nothing really more to add to that. If you have any questions,
Well, you've had a busy month.
it's been busy with projects, but not a lot of projects, just the size of.
And speaking to people seeking jobs,
Yes,
a lot of time involved there.
yes.
Will the chimney for the out and the.
Yeah,
Stack.
we still have to bring it over. The installer when we put it in, he was a different fellow. And he just put it up there quickly, so it's just a matter of readjustment. We kind of, after we graded around it, that ground was pretty unstable,
Yeah.
you know, squishy, so I didn't want to get somebody up on a ladder for it right then. I'd like to see some grass get established a little bit before we come around it.
I don't think it affects the.
It doesn't, it has nothing, it's purely cosmetic.
Questions of the Street Commissioner? Hearing none, we're at the Street Committee.
Street Committee, there's a lot going on. These interviews took some time and were very interesting. I'm always impressed with what people can do. Dennis, do you want to add anything to that?
Nothing there.
So the main thing we have is the large plow truck has needed repair for some months. We've talked about it, and as I understand it, the $36,000 I'm going to ask for what it needs to be, the plow truck, comes out of the large equipment fund. Is that correct, Danielle? Oh, I do. Okay.
I put it in, I don't know where I put it, but I put it in the appropriation amendments.
Okay, all right.
Is that our reserve fund?
No.
No, okay, it's not a reserve fund.
Would,
Sorry.
do we need more, do we need more information?
I don't
This
think
is a heck
so.
of an
You mean
expenditure.
about the
I
truck?
mean, would you want to put it off a week?
No,
Okay,
Well,
are you
do
ready?
we have an itemized list of the items that need repair? And has there been a determination on whether it's more equitable to repair or replace? That's the thing that I haven't seen as a member of the street committee, an itemized list of the repairs, an accurate estimate, and/or are we at that point where we're throwing good money after bad?
So to answer that question would be, I did give a glance over of the estimate for you guys to look at in the street committee meeting a few months back. And to try and repair what is existing, as the dealer builders has suggested, it's a hodgepodge of parts that were random parts on shelf thrown into. Had you used this truck to plow a parking lot or just a private road that doesn't see the traffic that we have, may function. However, the system that we have on our 2018 truck that is in the garage now is what we will meter. It'll be the exact system, so uniformity then is starting to cross over through the fleet. So an operator can run either one of those trucks and it's the same, whether he's in the 2018 or the 2020. He can get in either truck, the settings are the same, the computers are the same, it's the same system, which effectively lets us salt and operate the plow at the same time. The current system on the truck that was built only allows you to salt or run the plow. So if you're salting down the road and you have to angle the plow, the salt stops until you're done angling the plow or picking the plow up, and vice versa. So you get gaps in the road where there will be no salt.
Ruth, it'd be good to have a street committee meeting this
We're gonna
week.
have, we have one.
Oh, okay. Do it, knock it off this week, and then if we have a special council meeting, we can get to 36,000 next week. It'd be another week of delay, but kind of be nice to have some papers in front of us.
We have talked about that, so if you can get the copies
That's
of the estimate, but that would put it off a week, and he wanted to get going on it. So the street committee meeting is June 16th, which is
Next Monday.
next Monday, so that'll be before that at 3 o'clock, before the special council meeting, if it gets approved.
Is there any reason to wait a week? What are we waiting for? You provided the estimate, right?
He provided
Street
the
committee
estimate.
meeting
Yeah.
2-3 months ago?
Yep.
And what's actually being fixed on the truck?
So essentially, they're going to replace the full hydraulic system,
Okay.
operating system for salt controls and hydraulics. If they can reuse any parts of it that, such as the control handles inside the cab, that operate the plow or the bed, they will, just in the name of saving. But otherwise, it's a replacement of everything.
Okay, and a new truck's like 150 grand. or
150 grand
something.
plus.
Currently a new truck being built, a single axle 5-ton truck, outfitted the way we outfit trucks, runs about 280.
That much more?
I don't remember ever spending that much on one of the trucks.
So from what I was told here, you guys have never really spent that kind of money on a truck. However, the reason being is you guys have typically in the past bought demo trucks. So a truck that is, hey, this is what we've shown every committee or every city, every village, everybody's got this thing and ran this thing, which gives you that first problem that you originally had with this exact same truck, which was the moisture in the tanks because this will be the third upfit for this particular truck. The first upfit that came in was that cookie cutter truck, that demo truck that they brought. They found a lot of moisture in the system and the hydraulic system, that's death. So then you had already paid to have this truck outfitted. Now here we are, and this will be the last time this will
I'd go ahead and make the motion and just
Okay,
do this.
all right.
And, did we get 3 quotes?
I did not, I got one through the dealer. To build trucks is custom. To build the truck to mirror what we have is just not, the companies that did it in the past are all fading off. And everybody is starting to go towards a fleet mentality truck build. So they want to build you 5 trucks, all the same truck. They don't custom build.
And Ruth, to answer your question, it was the street maintenance fund is where I put it in the budget appropriations.
Thank you. I move that we go forward and go forward with the repair for the large plow truck 2020. It is $36,000 for the repair, so moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, street committee?
No, we will meet a week from today at 3 p.m. And that could be fluid. If we decide to have a council meeting, maybe we'll meet right before that. We'll see how
Okay.
that goes.
I forgot to put in my proposed, special council meeting next week, and we can knock off the bids for the salt cone and the paving.
Well, I thought that the engineer would be here tonight and discuss these.
Well, we have the bids, what you need is for the, to get the paperwork to the solicitor so she can write the legislation for the agreement.
I'll call him tomorrow. Is
Or
he,
call Brian and find out exactly what
All right.
the issue is.
Okay. So we could get it on next Monday night.
Do we know if the engineer may be available next Monday?
No, I don't, because I would imagine he's not, because he can, I'll find out.
I mean, if we need someone to answer questions about it, that's one thing. The other thing is the Fairview Hazelwood project.
Yep.
July 1st is coming, and we can bid out now, but we can't award until after July 1st. But that'd be something that'd be good to hear from the engineer about as well. I think Jerry will come up at our Public Utilities Committee meeting in addition.
So it's two,
Okay.
the streets and.
So we're still going to give you a chance to spend over $1 million.
Enough of that.
Between the Salt Dome and the countryside. Okay, we're at the building committee. Ruth, you're still up.
Building committee. We meet at 8 a.m. this coming Thursday, and I don't have anything from the last meeting that was pre the past meeting. So 8 a.m. Mayor, hope you'll be there. Mark.
At the building department?
At the building department, and we will hear what Dave and Ruth have to say. It's nice to have Ruth back,
Yeah.
and I hope she's in the swing of things, which I'm sure she is, and we'll be
Okay.
updated.
Anything else from the building committee? I do know, on Friday at 1 o'clock, Ruth is starting her second or third phase in of a computer system. This is now called iWord, but she's all set for Friday at 1 o'clock. So
I work with a few.
I work.
Yeah.
Okay, small I.
So is the third phase in, is that the final?
No, this is just starting. We've already done a couple other whole new systems.
This is,
She's done a couple.
The
but
last one was
they
purchased.
got gobbled up by the iWork people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I think that this is gonna be like the first training session up to now, they're just preparing.
I'm glad she's up for it.
It's been, change is good, I guess. Chief, you got the floor.
Thank you. I have a couple of reports. The garage is nearing completion. We have one utility to hook up next week, which would be the gas line, and everything else is just about done. I wanted to thank Tim and the street department, Thad specifically, for helping me pick some of the landscaping out and helping with the grading and the stone. The final stone work was done by these guys, so they did a great job, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. And as far as another project we're waiting to complete, we should have pavement markings this week on the crosswalk. So we should be able to close that job out relatively soon here. That's all I have.
What color, chief?
White.
White. Okay. Questions of the police chief? Hearing none, we're at the safety committee.
Okay, the safety committee will meet this Thursday, June the 12th at 8 a.m. at the police department. All are welcome. And also we have a motion on today's agenda for the Kids Day. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Kids Day at the South Russell Police Department on July 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
2.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and to purchase food for the event. Second.
Discussion.
You can just give us a sentence, I'm sorry, give us a sentence, what you do, Mike.
So this is going to be kind of replacing the bike rodeo. It's going to be more of an open house, kind of what we used to do in the past. So we'll bring people in, invite them into the police station, demo our cars. We'll have a drone, Ohio Drone Repair will be there to do drones
They'll love that.
demonstration, and kids will actually be able to fly them. Yeah.
Good.
Chief, we now have our own drone, correct, from a gift?
So yeah, that was mentioned by Councilman Bell last time around, so it was gifted to us. We have we don't have it yet. It's on its way, but it has been purchased for us.
Okay.
So based on previous years, Chief, do you have a recommendation for a not to exceed cost for food?
I think the pizza's at $150, and I think we're doing ice cream too, and probably another maybe $100 there. So maybe a 300 max.
Okay, so amend the motion to purchase food not to exceed $300.
Second.
Chief, does the drone deliver itself?
Right. Curious.
All right, we got a motion here. Motion to approve Kids Day at South Russell Police Department on July 27th, 10 to 2, and to purchase food for the event not to exceed $300. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Anything else, Safety Committee?
Pending any remarks from Councilman Galicki?
None.
All right, HR Committee.
HR committee, we've been spending a lot of special time with the streets committee lately, so kind of creating a super committee, are we?
No, it's not
No?
a super,
Okay.
just,
So as a result, we should have a recommendation for a hire at the next meeting. if not next week.
I appreciate everybody showing up and giving their best and listening.
It's been fun.
Questions of the HR committee?
Our next meeting is July 15th at 7:30 a.m. and that is it. And my counterpart is not here today. So that's
July
it.
15th,
July 15th,
7:30.
7:30.
Okay. We are at the property committee.
Okay, Properties Committee met on 29 May, and the minutes of the meeting are concluded in your council packages. Next meeting is scheduled for 24 June. We're ready to go forward with a resolution to start phase 1 of the corner lot, but we don't have that prepared before us.
Oh, come on. You know what it needs to be done. You know what it should say.
I know the wording was very specific, Mayor, and, without that specific wording that was taken by you after the Properties Committee meeting, I'm not going to wing a proposal.
This is
So-
ridiculous. Okay.
It's ridiculous
Repeat after
that it's
me.
not here.
I'd like to make a motion to remove the 3 trees, the asphalt, the bricks, the curbing from the corner lot and flatten and landscape the property.
That's not the wording that we proposed. We
Then-
also had dates that specifically would prevent this project from being delayed until October at the conclusion of the farmer's market.
You
And
got
that
a
would-
revised motion from me that took that out. It was highlighted in red.
And that is not the proposal of the Properties Committee.
Okay.
So with that, I would ask that you please remove the motion.
I can't make a motion. I was trying
You
to
just
tell you.
did.
I can't make a motion.
Okay, then it's.
What
moved
time
on.
is your HR committee meeting?
7:30 a.m.
7:30 on the 24th?
Yes, on the 15th.
On the,
You said July, though, right?
July. Yes,
okay, July
July.
24th.
July 15th.
Okay.
And that alleged revision was not provided to any members of the Properties Committee.
I'll check.
Please check.
Okay, I'm back to you, Chris. It's July 15th at 7:30.
Mhm.
That was HR, and the Properties Committee meeting is when, Councilman?
The Properties Committee is, the next one is on 24 June.
At what time?
Let's see, it's going to be at, just check my notes here. That is 9 a.m.
Are you planning on bringing this issue up at the special council
Thank you.
meeting, Bill?
Yeah.
On Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just having a bunch of motions. Any other questions of the Property Committee? Parks Committee?
I'll speak for Councilman Berger if that's, unless Jerry wants to speak. We have a proposed meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at the park. And we have, I didn't write down my proposed agenda, but I'm going to try to go with my brain. You brought up the bathroom separation. Are they unisex? We'll have to
Yes.
discuss that.
Discussion.
We'll discuss the same things, the 250th, what is everyone's pleasure. The biggest thing will be the Fall Fest dates. And I have heard back from all members except one. So we've got about six, is there 6 people on? 5 people able to show. And I hope it'll be good. If it rains, we're gonna meet at the hall. If it's not raining, I'd like to meet at the park. Tomorrow night, 6:30, be there.
Okay, questions of the Park Committee? Public Utilities Committee?
And Mayor, the Public Utilities Committee will be meeting this coming Friday, June 13th, 9 a.m. at Village Hall. And other than that, I have nothing more unless Councilman Canton has more to add.
Make sure on your agenda that you could have the resolution for the jug from the solid waste management district contract.
We do, yeah.
Okay, we are now at ordinances and resolution. The first ordinance is meter public funds, finance. Jerry, you got it.
Thank you. Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the amendment to the schedule of fees of the investment management agreement with Meter Public Funds, Inc., authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment on behalf of the village and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance is approved. Next one, Jerry, it's yours.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance transferring up to $276,200 from the income tax fund with up to $230,000 to the special land and building fund and up to $46,200 to the special road fund and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. You're on a roll, Jerry, you got two more.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance amending the annual appropriations, increasing street maintenance fund expenses, $11,000, operating fund salary and benefit expenses, $60,000, income tax transfer expenses, $276,200, special land and building expenses, $230,000, special road fund, $92,400, and decreasing the Bell Road East Capital Fund expenses, $1,127,071.62, and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Keep going, Councilman.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance decertifying $1,269,759 in revenue for the Bell Capital Fund and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance approved.
Just a note, Danielle, this is because the fiscal year is after July 1st.
Yes, we have that road, project budgeted for 25. It's not gonna happen in 26, so everything has to get amended.
So we're taking it out of the 25 budget, but it will probably be in the 26.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You'll go.
Okay. Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance certifying $100,000 in revenue for the income tax fund and declaring an emergency and suspend further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Dahl.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. You're 5 for 5 now with the bills list. Keep rolling.
Motion to ratify the bills list of May 30th, 2025, in the amount of $27,355.06.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are at new other.
You're a machine.
Just so you know, Eric is available on Monday
Well,
and
thank
just
you.
wants to know what time.
Okay,
New weather,
Motion to set that?
yeah, we will.
Okay.
We'll do new other and then knock it off. Okay.
Kavanaugh, new weather,
No.
Stuckey.
No.
Porter.
Should I do it now? I'd like to do it to move that there be a special council meeting on Monday, June 16th at 7 PM. And the subjects will be to motion to hire new street department employee, motion to create a street department clothing policy, motion to approve the fall festival date, motion to remove a motion with regard to the corner property as it's commonly known, including the removal of 3 trees, asphalt bricks, curbing, and to level that property, and a motion to approve a resolution supporting Jog Soil and Water.
Motion to go out for bids for salt dome and paving.
It's for the, no, you got, it's for the salt building contract,
Correct.
not the bids. We already have the bids.
Right,
We just have to determine who's
So we're
going.
talking about awarding. So there
Right.
would be an ordinance to award.
Yeah, I would just, I would just definitely mention it. For some reason, it's not, ready to go, then it's not ready to go. But I would definitely mention it because of the special meeting part. We have to include it.
Oh, yeah.
as Yep.
And,
And then you were gonna do the Fairview Hazelwood, I thought,
yes, and,
authorizing to go out bid.
yes,
It's a huge agenda.
and finally,
Bigger than today's agenda.
there was something else.
Uh,
Oh, the road program.
Road program and
Do
salt.
we already go out for bid for the road program for, Country Estates?
We already, I think we already made that
Yeah.
motion. We made that motion.
At the last
Eric just hasn't
Was that
gone
at the
to
last
it.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then did you do the Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste District? I apologize.
No, we
Yeah.
still have to do
We're
that.
gonna talk about that at the public utilities meeting.
But you still have to include it in the special meeting agenda if you guys, because we actually do have a template. They did send us a template resolution or ordinance that we would have to pass, if we do adopt their plan. And we have to do it within a certain amount of time, and I'm not sure when the mayor received the paperwork, but April 9th was the date of the correspondence. So if you figured if we have 90 days to do something, that would be July, whatever.
And we'll also include on the list of items for the special meeting, discussion of the, the solid waste management plan for the Geauga-Trumbull Solid Waste Management District.
Perfect.
So moved.
Second.
Second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. See you next Monday at 7.
Apart from that, I have nothing, Daniel.
Okay, Bob, any other?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Berger from this evening's meeting.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, is that,
Opposed, motion passes.
Canton,
That's-
that's everybody.
All right, we need an executive session. No, Chris has got
So,
that.
question on this in the agenda that says, for considering the employment of a public employee, I know we had an email today to talk about employee evaluation. Is it both?
No, it's just the employment of a public employee.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to enter an executive session to consider the employment of a public employee pursuant to section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code, and to invite into the executive session the mayor. Anyone else? That's good. That's
Not
it.
a solicitor or anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a-
Second.
Second.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Kaliki,
Aye.
Berger,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Let's go in, let's give about 3 minutes. So at 8:15, start.
John, who do you get